3 things I wish I knew in my early 20s. Cut your family off. Hear me out. If your family is toxic, do not be afraid to cut them off. The best decision I have ever made was no longer spinning the block with my own relatives. I am not going to take several steps back in my healing journey by trying to heal in the same place that hurt me. Number 2, stop seeking approval from people that are not living your life. I cannot tell you how many people I know that genuinely do not make decisions without getting approval from family. Baby, you 36. I'm not asking you about anything I'm doing in my life. I'm telling you. And you'll be lucky if I do that. Number 3, your journey is not supposed to look like theirs. Everybody is not supposed to be in the same place or moving at the same pace. Nobody is doing better than you. You can only do better than you because the grass that looks greener just might be fake.
Welcome back, First Days. We are excited to be joining you on your level up journey today. We are all beings on a journey experiencing this thing we call life. It can be exciting and filled with frustrations, especially in our 20s. Whilst making mistakes is absolutely crucial, learning from the mistakes of others can help us to skip several paces ahead. Enjoy and don't forget to subscribe.
It's been a while, so we're gonna do an updated things I wish I knew in my 20s. Have standards, not expectations. Your first thoughts in the morning will set the tone for your entire day. So practice gratitude even when it feels impossible. You should have at least 3 hobbies. One that allows you to be creative, one that makes you money, and one that challenges you. You're going to go through friendship breakups and they suck. And they're inevitable, but I promise you, you will understand down the road why those people didn't fit in your life. I promise. I'm going for a glowy look today, so I'm gonna try the Cali Ray Free Dreaming Skin Wellness Diffusing Tint, and I'm gonna mix together 5 and 6. Your job doesn't define you. In fact, losing or quitting your job might end up being the best thing that happens to you. Back up your devices, like right now. Oops. Oh, this feels so good. Listen to your gut. Oh my goodness, listen to your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. You're not crazy. Things aren't gonna go as planned. I know, what a wrench, but I promise you, they're gonna work out for the best in the end. Just trust. Also, how pretty is this skin tint? Stop stressing about the fact that you don't know what you want. Figuring out what you don't want is just as important. Boring dates, crappy jobs, friendship breakups, it's all part of your story, okay? It's important, I promise. Nothing groundbreaking is gonna come from your comfort zone. I know, I'm sorry. So try to get comfortable with doing things that scare you, I know. Always keep a change of clothes in your car. Sneakers, a bathing suit, a hoodie, makeup removers, whatever you need. I've showed this palette before on my page. It is my favorite, so I just use these 2 on my eyes for just a little bronzy look. Always be learning. Give people grace. You never know what someone's going through. Just because you follow them on social media doesn't mean you know their whole story, so be nice. The easy part should be easy. In friendships, romantic relationships, if you're always stressed or paranoid, they're probably not for you. Drink more water. And no, iced coffee is not a breakfast, sorry. Your relationship with yourself is the most important. Oh, do you see the Okay, Kelly. Show people how to treat you. Ask for help. Invest in experiences, not things. Wear SPF. Wash your damn sheets. And most importantly, it's only life, okay? None of the stupid shit matters. So just be a good person, do whatever the hell you want, and stop caring about what people think, okay? I love you.
Things I wish I knew in my 20s, friendship edition. Growing up together doesn't guarantee a lifelong friendship. You gotta put in the time and the effort to make it last. Some friendships are seasonal, and that's okay. A few close, genuine friends is a million times better than a bunch of surface level friends. Not everyone needs to be your best friend forever. If you're not happy when you're around them, cut them out. If they don't make you better, cut them out. Pay attention to the person you are when you're around them. Do you like that person? Gossip is immature and really just a reflection of that person's insecurities. And usually it's gonna get you into trouble. Listen more, talk less. Just because you're at a different season of life and you may not be able to relate to all the same things anymore doesn't mean the friendship has to die. If they're a real friend, they want to come along on that journey with you and you with them. Sometimes friends have to figure things out on their own, and you hammering your opinion about it to them isn't doing any good. Try to find people who balance you out. Sometimes multiple strong personalities can be tricky. A real friend will be happy for your happiness and sad for your sadness. I can't take credit for that one. My best friend said that during her speech at my wedding. It doesn't matter where you live. If it's a real friendship, you'll remain close regardless of the distance. Confronting a problem won't always fix it. And not confronting a problem will most definitely not fix it. And it'll only get worse. You should be able to speak your mind and be your truest self around your best friends. If you don't, or you feel like you can't, something's wrong there. Good friends never judge you. You can still make lifelong friends even after college. Last thing, you can always come to this page if you need a bestie.
Okay, I'm 30 years old and here are 5 things that I wish I knew earlier in my 20s. Number 1, nothing lasts forever. No, I am not being cynical, quite the contrary. When you go throughout life believing things should last forever, whether it's a person, a relationship, or a job, or whatever it may be, you end up latching onto that thing, usually way past its expiration date, because you've attached the state of your being to that person, place, or thing. Nothing is permanent in this life, and when you can actually accept this, it actually gives you with a deeper appreciation for what you have while you have it. Number 2, stop punishing yourself for not doing better when you didn't know better. Life is a learning journey and you are not meant to have it all figured out. If you did, life would be boring and predictable and you would never grow. You are always doing the best that you can based off the knowledge that you have. And that is always good enough. Number 3, and this is a big one, the cause of suffering is not the world around you. The cause of suffering is that you decided in your mind how life needs to be in order for you to be okay. And then when reality doesn't match to what you've conjured up in your mind, then you suffer. But life does not need to be different in order for you to be okay. What needs to be different is your internal world. Number 4, boredom is just a shorter way of saying that you're not okay inside. Because if you were okay inside, you would never be bored and you'd find fulfillment and joy in everything that you do. And you wouldn't have the need to constantly distract yourself from yourself through external stimulation. So in other words, when you learn to be okay with just yourself, life becomes a lot more fulfilling. And the last thing that I wish I knew earlier in my 20s was to stop trying to change other people. When you are constantly trying to change another person, you are basically insinuating that their authentic way of being is not good enough. And being on a journey where you're trying to constantly change or control other people is exhausting, and it will never lead to true satisfaction. But when you can let go of that tendency to want people to be a specific way, that's when you find liberation. So stop trying to focus on changing other people and instead change yourself.
Things I wish I knew in my 20s as a now 30-year-old. Unpack the luggage when you get home from the trip immediately, otherwise those suitcases will be staring at you for 3 weeks. People who change once you change your appearance don't love you. They loved your outer beauty, so you're not missing out on anything. The right people will love you whether you're curvy, thin, in the middle of a breakout, decide to cut all your hair off, get bangs, wanna let your armpit hair grow, whatever. Because they love your soul, not the casing. Sometimes you're gonna be totally on top of your nutrition. Sometimes you're gonna take a shot of Parmesan cheese that comes with your takeout pizza straight. Both are important. Fill your gas tank up when it's half empty. Waiting till we're running on E. Also goes for our mental health. Trying to force a dating situation that you know isn't supposed to work is like trying to fit into pants that don't fit. It's going to be nearly impossible to put them on, and then really unenjoyable when you're wearing them. When you have big goals in mind, the most powerful thing that you can do is know that some progress is better than no progress. One of the best skills you can learn is how to politely but firmly say no without a huge monologue following. Practice this often. And finally, and probably most importantly, forgive yourself as easily as you forgive others.
Now listen, Boss Baes, your 20s and even your teen years can be a time of real uncertainty. Remember that you need to be patient with yourself and to make the time to fall in love with yourself and to get to know who you really are on a deeper level. The Boss Bae Manifestation Diary we created for you, Boss Baes, has that specifically in mind. We wanted it to be simple and easy whilst jam-packed with value. Take advantage of the 90-day manifestation goal to uncover your darkest self, as well as the weekly self-care sessions to bring to light the fun parts of yourself. Oh, and lest I forget, it's completely free. So head over to Gumroad to get your very own version. The link is in the description. The light and dark themes are currently available, so you can choose the ones that best suits you.
Okay, I'm 29 and here are 5 things I wish I did earlier in my 20s. Starting off strong, the very first thing I wish I did was drink less alcohol. I spent so much of my youth wasting time by being so wasted. And by no means am I saying to not drink alcohol, it's your life, so do you, obviously, but I think it's important to reflect on your relationship with alcohol. If you're drinking every night of the week, if you're binge drinking, if you're blacking out all the time, or if you're just abusing substances in general, then there's probably something going on internally that you need to address, and you're using alcohol and substances as a coping mechanism to avoid what's going on internally. But the sooner that you turn inwards and heal whatever is going on internally, the better off you're going to be and the better your life is going to be. The second thing I wish I did was be more mindful about sun exposure. I used to lay out with the intention to get absolutely fried because I just wanted to be tan. And now I just have sunspots all over my body, so I definitely regret that one. So be mindful of sun exposure and take care of your skin health because your future self is going to thank you. The third thing I wish I did, and this is a big one, I wish I learned to love myself sooner. I spent so many fucking years never thinking I was good enough, hating myself, judging myself, criticizing myself, never accepting myself, never feeling I was pretty enough. And it led to a lot of anger that I projected out onto every relationship that I had, whether it was romantic or platonic. And on top of all the anger, I also experienced so much depression, anxiety, guilt, shame, etc. And I only wish that I nurtured the relationship I had with myself sooner, because ultimately the only fucking relationship that matters in life is the relationship you have with yourself. The fourth thing I wish I did earlier in my 20s and just earlier in life was learn to trust my gut. I spent way too much fucking time following other people rather than following my own intuition, and I ended up going down the wrong paths with the wrong people, doing the wrong things in the wrong jobs, etc. And it just led to a lot of feelings of unhappiness. And I told myself time after time that I wasn't intuitive, when in reality I'm actually very fucking intuitive. I just wasn't listening to my intuition or trusting my gut because of this fear of change. I was too busy clinging on to the things that I was familiar with and the things that I'd known, rather than take the leap out into the unknown and trust myself and trust my intuition and trust in divine guidance. And the fifth and final thing that I wish I did earlier in my 20s was to stop using perfectionism as a mask for my insecurities. Perfectionism just isn't real. It's a mask that we put over our insecurities. It's just our ego trying to protect us from being judged, criticized, rejected, etc. And I spent way too many years listening to that voice inside my head telling me I wasn't good enough and that my work wasn't good enough, when I should have been listening to the voice inside my head that was empowering me and telling me I am good enough, exactly as I am, and my work is good enough, and that I am worthy. And so are you, exactly as you are.
Hey, it's Mel. I'm 55 years old, and these are 13 things that I wish I knew when I was in my 20s. Number one, the idea that your 20s is going to be the best time of your life, complete and utter bullshit. In fact, your 20s might be the hardest decade of your life, but listen to me. You're not broken, you're not a loser, and you are going to figure it out. Number two, stop spending your money on stupid shit. Seriously, listen to me. Spending money that you do not have on things that you do not need, it does not make you feel powerful. It makes you feel powerless. Number three, you have so much time. You have so much time to meet the love of your life, to make six figures, to figure out your career, to start a family. Slow down. Your time is precious and you have plenty of it. Number four, date the person, not the potential. I want you to ask yourself, are you truly dating the person as they are? Or are you dating them kind of wishing they were someone else? The fact is, no one changes unless they want to. So date the person, not their potential. Number five, life isn't fair. And wishing that it was, it's not going to change anything. So stop comparing yourself to other people, because you can either throw yourself a pity party or you can trust where your life is leading you. Number six, in your 20s, count your wins, not by the quantity of your paycheck, but by the quality of your circle. Every single time you make a quality connection, count that as the best damn bonus you could earn. Number seven, don't be a dick. Pretty self-explanatory. Number eight, you don't get to want it unless you've got the balls to ask for it. Stop pretending that other people can read your mind. They can't. If you want something, ask for it. Number nine, create a rock-solid morning routine, because it is the fastest way to take back control in your 20s. Number 10, get serious about who you're hanging out with. In your 20s, you get to choose who you spend time with. So spend time with people who lift you up, who share the same goals, who are supporting you and taking big risks. You know who these people are. Prioritize spending time with them. Number 11, be your own person. Stop doing things that you don't want to do. Stop saying you like things that you don't. Nobody likes a people pleaser, neither do you, so be your own person. Number 12, you're not in competition with anyone else. It's only you against you. There's enough love, enough money, enough success, enough friendship, enough everything for every single human being on the planet. Stop mistaking everybody else's wins as your loss, you're not in competition with anybody. And finally, number 13, when you are in your 20s, take the biggest risks of your life. It is the perfect time for you to move, to try a different career, to go back to school, to take that trip, mix things up. Because if you don't do it now during the perfect time of your life, you will live for the rest of your life with regret over the fact that you didn't, just like I do. So those were the 13 things that I wish I knew in my 20s, things that would have saved me so much heartbreak. It would have kept me from making so many mistakes. But the fact is, you can only go so deep on advice when you're doing a makeup tutorial. And so here's what I did. I created an entire podcast episode just for you. Because the fact is, yeah, your 20s can be really, really hard and very challenging. But they can also be one of the best decades of your life.
Get a morning routine. How you start your morning determines your day. Stop rushing all the damn time. 9 times out of 10, the reason why you're always rushing is because your life is chaotic. Focus on getting organized. Put all your bills on auto pay, especially if it reports to the credit bureau. If you can't buy it 3 times, you can't afford it. Never try to convince people who you are. Stay the hell away from negative people. A negative ion is 2 times more charged than a positive ion. It is literally impossible to out positive a negative person. Someone else's beauty does not mean the absence of your own. Don't chase. Whatever you chase when it comes to money, relationships, friendships, being someone's wife, it will elude you like a butterfly. You have to become, and then you will attract.
I just celebrated my 30th birthday, so I thought I'd share 10 things I wish I knew in my 20s. Number 1 is that your worth is not tied to your work, your job title, the company you work for, or your productivity, period. Take time to define yourself outside of external validation. Number 2, you'll find love when you fall in love with yourself first. Focus on yourself, build up your confidence, and remember that you are whole without someone else completing you. You don't want to have to need someone, you want to choose them. Next is say yes to as many experiences as you can. A random party where you don't know anyone, a spontaneous trip, a big cross-country move, anything. But also learn the value of saying no and how to set boundaries to protect your energy. Speaking of energy, you want to match people's energy. Your 20s are full of fluctuating friendships and relationships, and a good rule of thumb is if they wanted to, they would. If you find that you're the only one who's initiating or putting in effort or chasing after people, then really take stock of your relationship. Evaluate if they're really worth it, because some people are only meant to be in your life for a season, and that's okay. Next is a big one for me. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to justify, you don't have to do X amount of work before you can rest. Go on vacation, or even just sit at home and do nothing. Your soul needs it. Make time for hobbies. Do joyful things that make it feel like you're playing. Participate in a sport, play an instrument, learn pottery. You need an outlet that is purely for fun. Next, build a health and fitness routine now. This is kind of self-explanatory. You have way more energy in your 20s to build a foundation that will carry you through life. Next is prioritize learning about personal finance. Just learn the basics of saving, investing, budgeting, retirement, and generally just making smart financial choices. Last but not least, don't stress over timelines. You're not behind, it's not too late, and you are on your own journey. Try not to focus on what everyone else is up to. I could go on, but I'm going to stop right here. Let me know